Hello everyone, this is Josie. I am back with a share of some tips of what you can do with your leftover paper from a paper pad or paper kit. I had been working on last year's Christmas pictures, and I ended up having to use this paper pad. The original paper pad that I was using, I kind of completely destroyed that, so I couldn't use the paper I wanted, but I still had this paper that I had picked up. It's cute, but it's not what I wanted, but I still used it, and I made a smash book with all Christmas pictures from last year. So I still had plenty of this paper left, and since I don't want to use it again on any layouts, and I don't want to use these colors this year, I needed to get rid of the 12x12 paper so it wouldn't take up any more space that I really don't have for it. So the first thing I did is I took all the paper that was left. I took it out of the pad. So and then I separated these 3 sheets of 12x12 that are left that were not Christmas themed. I separated those, and I'm keeping these as they are. So there was only 3 left, and there's no Christmas prints or anything on these, so those can be used on anything. So I did that, and I'm going to put that in one of these Recollection storage envelopes. They're these storage envelopes. I'm going to put those in here and just add to it as I finish up paper pads, 12x12 paper pads, and as I finish them up, I'm going to put them in here. And maybe when I have about 20 sheets in here of just random papers, I will go through them and make a kit out of them. And then apply that to my album as a kit and use that up. Or I can also use this paper for cards. The next thing I did is I got all the paper that was Christmas themed, and I cut it down to the 2.5 by 3.5 cards. These are artist trading card size or pocket letter size. I had shown before a smash book that I used to put these scrap papers in too. So I had picked up this black and craft colored smash book last year, and I was originally going to use it for an album, but I didn't like the way it held the papers in there. So I've put my ATC cards in here, and these are just some cards I picked up at Hobby Lobby. But there is already some Christmas paper that I didn't want anymore, cut down to size in here. So, let's see. There it is. So I still have room in here, so that's why I cut that down. And I'm doing that with any papers that I have left over from any papers I don't want to use in cards or in albums anymore. So there's that. And then the next thing I did is I used this Recollections tag punch. And it is about 2.5. Is that right? It's about 2 3/4 lengthwise. Widthwise, it's almost 2 inches. So, some of the, because I didn't want to like overdo it on the, because there was still so much paper left. Because there's over 100 cards here. So I wanted to stop there, and so whatever was left over, plus the big pieces of scrap paper was left over, I punched out all of these tags from that. And there's over 110 tags right here. So these tags will be used on Christmas gifts. They will be used on the hats and scarves that I will be donating this year again. So I have tags ready to put my information on there and tag my hats and scarves with. So I have those. And then the last thing I did is I used this EK Success Flower Punch, and all the little scraps that weren't big enough to punch the tags out with, or they were oddly shaped, or they were just really thin, like 1.5 inch thin strips, I used that flower punch and punched out over 100 flowers with it. I can use some of these to embellish the tags. Another idea I had and why I used a flower punch on the Christmas paper is because I had watched yesterday, I believe, Saw Crafter's video on some flowers that she made using a circle punch and paper plates, and she used acrylic paint to change them the color she wanted. So I thought that I would use acrylic paint over the Christmas theme part of the paper, and I can turn it into whatever color flower I want. So that's the other reason that's one of the reasons I used a flower punch, is because I can paint over it with paint and make different flowers out of them. And so I can either do that or add them to the tags and as embellishments. So that is my little tip or ideas for getting rid of what's left of your paper pads that you don't want to use anymore. You can do any of these things. You can punch out flower shapes, tags, ATC size cards, because you can cover these patterns with gesso and do a mixed media thing on top of them. Or you can use the back of them, which is white, and stamp your sentiment and use a die and die cut out the shape around the sentiment, and you don't have to use your white cardstock for doing that. You can just use these. So there's plenty of things that can be done with this stuff. If any of you have any other ideas of how to use your leftover paper, what to do with it, please leave a comment, and I would love to know if you have any other ideas, because I like using different ways to store away this paper and use it in a different way. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.